Hello and welcome to another week of Monday with the Mayor. I'm Bradford Raths, and we have returned to Jasper to see Terry Seitz.
Hi, Bradford. Good day to you.
Good day to you. So we're going to start off stellar communities. Jasper's also applying. I know Huntingburg and several other communities are involved. So let's talk about Jasper's application.
We have done a great amount of diligence on that. There's a three-stage process. It's a letter of interest, at which you'll be judged and more or less then moved into a potential to become an applicant. And the applicant stage includes a lot of community involvement, and we may be calling on residents of the community to help us with that as we're planning on maybe doing that. I think when you don't submit a letter of interest without going, well, what if we get to the next stage? So we're starting to do some planning, what if? And then, of course, there will be the potential to be one of the two communities selected as a stellar community. Essentially, it is a program where the state has three major departments: INDOT, Department of Transportation, Housing and Community Development, and Office of Community and Rural Affairs. They essentially pass through and combine federal grants that they receive and a portion thereof, and essentially create a stellar community program where two communities will get significant amount of grants. What it is not is a competition that says, wow, we could do this if we had all your state and federal funds. You have to look at something that you've already done. You have to have movement already established, and you're looking at something that's transformative. Our two areas are matched up perfectly with our downtown and riverfront master plan, and that's exactly what we've got. We're taking and building off that. The good news is, Bradford, is that we've invested in the next step of design for those projects, and in doing so, that helps us with the stellar effort. So regardless of whether we get stellar, and we would hope that we would, we still have taken that next step to design the phases of what's been adopted in the master plan. In the council meeting last week, voted to look at funding opportunities. Not saying that we would necessarily look at funds that we didn't have in existing taxpayer funds, but maybe there's a way of leveraging or edit for a bond that would enable us to do this in a quicker, faster way. We have no current civil city debt whatsoever, and we have the ability to use edit funds to help pay that back. We did that with the ball diamonds on the sports complex. So we'll see. We're just exploring that because the community has been so supportive of this particular effort. So essentially, that's the Stellar's Communities letter of intent phase. That's where we're at, letter of interest, and that's been in. We are one of the communities in the state that's interested in this, and we believe we are very far along in this process because we've demonstrated over the last 10 years, certainly over the last 3 years, of really moving forward in everything that fits a stellar community.
So continuing with other projects per se, the subdivision control and zoning ordinances are coming up on another point. We got focus groups coming up on Wednesday.
We do, and we have about 40, maybe 50 people signed up for those focus groups. We had a public meeting about a month ago. Out of that, that group highlighted some key areas that we wanted to have focus groups on. They may not be the end-all to be-all as far as that. There may be more focus groups, but we'll be looking at 4 groups that we'll be talking about various stages: subdivision, maybe code enforcement, zoning specifically, and they have about an hour-and-a-half meeting set up throughout the day. This is when the consultants find that it's best for them to assemble the information, so it is during the daytime, and we realize that may make it difficult for some people to make it, but we're very grateful for the 40 to 50 we now have. It's reaching out to all levels of commercial involvement, citizen involvement, and again, it's another way that Jasper as a community has stepped forth to engage in a public process. Our zoning and subdivision control ordinances have been touched a little bit over the last 20 years, but there's not been a formal review and rewrite in 20 years, and 20 years before that. So we think it's optimal. The timing is right, certainly as we want our community, what we want our community to look like, and how we want our community to grow.
And on a final note, some positive news within the city. Jim Stallman honored for his safety efforts this past week.
Right, and there's always positive news in the city, Bradford. You know that. I've admonished you now, that's all. I'll be good. But yeah, we have a lot of positive news. This is the positive city. What we have created 2 years ago with the retirement of our first ever safety director. In fact, he led our first office of Personnel Safety and Loss Control, Charlie Schneider. I created an award at that time that I felt was worthy of his effort. He created a safety team 20 years ago. That safety team still remains. It's reorganized over the years with different people. One of the original members, though, was Jim Stallman. Jim has retired, will retire officially this Friday, but his last day at the office without some vacation days being used up was on the 21st. And we presented him, the second person to receive the Charlie Schneider Safety First Award. This is not an annual award. It's only given on merit. The safety team chooses that, and they chose to award this to Jim. He has been an original member. He's really, as much as anything, into keeping Jasper safe as a utility substation foreman in the electric department, but also of really the safety of his team. And that's critical for us. The reason that safety is important, we want our employees to go home to their families and loved ones at the end of the night in as good a shape as what they were when they came to work. And give Mr. Schneider credit. It was great to be able to have Charlie join Cale Canese, our current safety, loss control, and personnel director, there for that, and to award Jim Stallman of 45 years well served, 20 in the safety team, and give him become the second recipient of the award.
Certainly a nice story, as are many stories. Thank you very much for your time, Mayor. This has been another week of Monday with the Mayor. We'll have more news after this break.